for hours and read, and he was quite content because they just want to be talked to. They just want to know they're not alone. You can
literally read whatever you want to. If you like reading, what is it? What's like magazine? Like Cosmopolitan? I don't know.
That's still a magazine, yeah.
I don't know that much about
Southern
magazines.
Living is one that I get.
But if that's something that you like, read them. Cookbooks, for all they care. They don't know.
They don't know.
And it helps them start speaking because they start hearing some of the repetitive sounds you're saying.
Inflection is good too. Like different voices. That's really great.
And they raise their little eyebrows like, oh, that's new.
Yeah. Like, so it doesn't matter. You can give each, ooh, and now we're going to crack the eggs. Babies get excited about that stuff. They don't need pictures. They just need your voice. Toys that play soft music are also going to be a huge hit at this age group. It's right up there with the voices. It's a sound. It's soothing.
I have, what are those? The little speaker?
Mm-hmm.
What are those? The little Google?
Like an Alexa speaker?
Something like that. I don't know. My husband does that kind of stuff. But whatever it is, I have those, and I always had one in his room, and I'd play it whenever he would go to sleep. And I'd say, hey, play for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Those are nice.
Please play bedtime lullabies for 30 minutes.
We had one of those glowworms where you push the belly and the face lights up and it plays like soft music.
That's fancy. I think that's at Wally World.
Yeah, they've had those.
I don't have any of those.
For like ever.
I've seen them though.
I'm pretty sure they had those when I was a baby, and now they still have them when other people. I like buying those for people because they're such a neat gift because they grow with the kid. Because even when they're 3, they can still sleep with the toy. You just push its belly and it glows. My stepsister bought him an owl that glows from its tummy, and he loved that.
Oh my goodness.
Because it would put like stars on the wall and it played music.
And you did a lot of like moons and stars and stuff, right, in your nursery?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hanging things from the ceiling. Obviously not over the bed because that would not be safe, but across the room for him. It gives him something to look at, different colors. We did dark blues and reds, so it was contrasting with like the white ceilings and stuff. To give them something to look at.
Primary colors are always great.
Yes. Yeah, because that's the first colors they're going to start picking up and noticing. They're not going to notice that chartreuse.
What
anything
is chartreuse?
I think it's
Give
like
me another close color.
How about fuchsia?
It's pink? Chartreuse does not sound like a pink color.
It's actually green and yellow, like lime, hot green lime yellow thing.
Salmon is a pink color.
That is a pink color, yeah. Yeah, but I think they're going to get red. They're like colorblind. It's crazy.
Anyway.
So we digress. About 6 months old is when you're going to want to start introducing the teething toys. It actually could be about 4 months, but if you Google it, they're like 6 months old is when they start teething. Some kids start sooner. It is not a coverall for everybody.
No.
So know that that's the age. But fun toys that are different textures and feels in their mouth is fun. Cold ones, that ones you put like in the fridge and you can take them out and they're cold, those are like great on really bad teething days.
You can also put some ice in a sock, which is what I did, and then just like beat the tar out of it on the counter to make it in little chunks, and then they chew on that.
See, that's fantastic.
And you can also flavor the ice.
But that's so simple, right? Like does not take much to entertain these children at this age. Like
it was a relatively new sock that was laundered.
She did not go pull it out of the trash can.
And it was laundered with newborn soap because I was that kind of extra when I was a new mom. Everything got that soap.
Well, I mean, and look at him. He has all those reactions to stuff.
It was probably smart.
It was probably like the best idea you could have had.
I mean, I know my husband, and I just knew I needed to be careful.
You're like, we must be careful. It's not an option. So, there's different ways that you can do it, but teething toys. I think we had like a little rubber carrot. Like it was a carrot shape, and it had and the leaves were handles.
And a pineapple.
Yeah,
and they looked just like it. Yeah, it was pineapple.
Yeah, and those were like perfect because they had different textures on them, and they could hold them easily because they got little fat little hands, and their fat little hands don't hold a whole lot real well. So those are perfect for that. Your 6 to 9 months, you're gonna want the larger toys without small parts because everything goes in the mouth, right? And little things with little parts, you don't want them breaking off into their little mouths.
Yes.
But you want to be able to like crawl or roll to try to access toys. So toys that move are really cool.
Because it encourages them to get up and move.
Yeah, so if like something rolls, balls, they make balls that have like different like buttons and stuff on them that the kids can like go get. Like they roll and you can like they can grab them, and when they grab them, they make noises, and I'm entertained by those. And here I am, an adult, so
they're fun.
Yeah, no.
You know, they make those like alarm clocks for adults where they like run off of your table and you have to go chase them down to turn them off.
Forget that.
That sounds like a terrible idea for me. I feel like I would be angry every day of my life.
There's no way. That's not a gentle wakening. I actually had to change my alarm to like slowly increase in tempo because I was like, I can't handle it blaring at me at 6 o'clock in the morning. I need to ease into it. And so it starts off very quietly and I hit snooze. And then it'll come back in 8 minutes. Not 10 minutes. 8 minutes.
Why 8?
I don't know. That's what it automatically is set for.
That's so funny.
So in 8 minutes, it'll start again, and then it increases in oh my gosh, I lost the name of the, not bravado, but
whatever it is.
Sound. It gets louder. It increases in loudness. Oh my gosh. My band nerd is so upset with me right now. I can't think of what. Crescendo? I don't know.
Band.
Oh my gosh.
I was a mascot in my high school. Little different skill set.
Nerd. No, I'm just Anyway, so things that make noise, perfect for that age group. At 9+ months, you want to start preparing for your kiddo to start walking. They can literally start walking anytime after 9 months. Anything before 9 months is very rare. It's not unusual, but it is rare for children to walk before 9 months. My son walked at 9.5 months because he's an overachiever.
Mine was a late bloomer.
Well, yeah, he was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
You can carry me.
Because he was 3 months older, and he was, like, looking over at yours, like, hey, what's he doing?
I know, and
like,
he was
can you just take some tips? Can y'all have baby talk
Well, we kept putting them together more often.
It didn't work.
He'll, like, want to do what
It didn't work.
No, it didn't work that way. So
he's stubborn.
It's not unusual. I mean, my oldest didn't walk till after he was a year old. He just, why?
But
why
those
did he
little
have to?
walking toys definitely help with keeping them going. Because the more they build those muscles in the forward propulsion, then they can start pivoting and things like that and get a little more skills behind them to where they don't fall as often.
Yeah, and y'all have all seen those little toys. They got the wheels, they got the handle up top, and they got like the toys down the front, and they're usually at an angle, and they can push them. They don't roll very fast, and they can walk behind them. They usually make annoying noises as they walk because that encourages the walking because they like noises. So, anything that makes noises, they're like, hell, it's to the yeah. So, at 1 year-ish, you can start getting the kind of toys that they can sit on. They do make some, like, little cars that are, like, walk-behind cars. And so once they start walking and stuff, then they can start sitting on them, and then they can start using their legs to, like, push themselves around.
Oh, there was this family friend that had 4 kids, and all 4 of these kids did this. So I'm not sure exactly why, but they would so just like on your little car and you move your little legs, but they would do like a wheelbarrow stance, I guess, where their butt was up in the air and their head was flat on the ground. So the top of their head was on the ground. And then they would tuck their hands on their sides. They were little too. They were little kids.
Oh my gosh.
And they'd do that, and then they would just start throwing their little legs going, and like slide their head.
Did they get rug burn?
Around? Yeah, like it was just like they would slide around the house. And all 4 kids that did it, and they weren't the same age. They were 4 separate little entities that were several years apart each, but every single one of them, when they were babies, they did that. And I just thought it was
fantastic.
So interesting.
I've never
They came up with their own locomotion.
Yeah, they did.
They made it work.
I mean,
maybe they were top heavy. I don't know. They looked pretty proportional to me.
I don't know. It's kind of like those kids
was a little
that only like
top heavy.
Like army crawl. Like they don't like get up on their knees. They're like, screw this business, and they just on their forearms. Like I've seen kids do that. I thought my youngest was going to do that because he was like, on my knees? Ew, no, thank you. Like he was like, ugh, this is a lot of work, and which is why I think he walked, because he was like, ugh,
this is way easier.
Ugh, this is terrible. Why would I crawl on my hands and knees? It's stupid. So he army crawled a lot, or pushed himself backwards, like he would like a little crawfish.
It's too funny.
In case you didn't know, I'm pretty sure that's what a crawfish sounds like.
Oh, you think so?
I imagine it.
Okay. I was thinking like the flicky of the tail.
Well, I mean, they got to dig out the dirt so they can scoot backwards. Makes sense.
That makes sense. Total sense.
Yeah. So leave y'all with some Google advice. So I read an article from kidshealth.org, and they suggest that a way to play with your baby is you can gently clap their hands together or stretch their arms, like cross their body out wide, overhead, and it's a good like muscle building skill because they don't know how to like move their hands to clap them especially over their head. Like that's a big one.
I did a lot. Well, my kiddo had a lot of GI not moving problems, and so we did a lot of the little what are they called? Little
like
bicycle.
Bicycle.
And I would grip his little legs on both sides a lot, and just like I don't know, just cause sensation on his legs nonstop.
Yeah, but it's nice on there. It's a good.
His legs are very strong now.
Yeah,
he's a runner.
He's fast. But it's a good exercise for them. So moving their arms, moving their legs. It says use a favorite toy for your baby to focus on, like follow or shake a rattle, and then move it to where they have to look for it because they can't see, right? Like vision is limited, especially when they're not very mobile. And so you can shake a rattle on one side of their head when they're looking in another direction, and then they like,
it's over there.
Where did that go? And they have to like think about it. You can see literally motors cranking in their little brains as they try to figure out where do I have to turn my head to find this noise. And it's a fun game for them, and it's also a good motor skill. Don't go too crazy because you want them to be able to find it. You can also make different facial expressions for your baby to imitate. So smiling at them, sad faces, stick your tongue out at them, silly faces. They were like, all of these are great. And that's true. They do like that because you're interacting with them, and that's all they really want. Talking to your baby and letting your baby respond. That's another big one. So, because babies...
Giving them time.
Yeah, like, you're pretending to have a conversation. Obviously, they're not saying anything. If your baby is saying something, we need to talk, because I want to know. But
I saw the cutest video of a daddy doing that on a couch while they were watching TV. And he was just talking about the show, and the little girl was going, ah-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he goes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, too. And it was just so freaking cute.
Right? Like, they understand that there's a pause in a conversation at this age, and so it's quite fascinating to see how their brains work. They're not making actual words, but to them they're following the steps of a conversation, and so conversing with them a lot is good for them because it helps their brain wire for conversation.
And then one day they'll spit out an actual sentence,
and then they'll annoy you till the day you die. Well, that's another story.
Just went super negative.
I'm sorry. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, I liked it better when you didn't talk.
Just every now and then.
I mean, they talk back now. We're at the talk back stage, and
mine's been telling me to stop talking on like everything.
Now see, I'm not alone in this.
Stop talking, and I'm like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
and then he just laughs. I'm like,
yeah. Kids are great. And they said read to your baby, which we talked about. Reading is very good. Use sound effects. While they're awake, they said let your baby spend some time lying on their tummy to help strengthen their neck and shoulders. Always supervise the infant during tummy time and be ready to help because they do get tired and frustrated, and you want to make sure that they sleep on their back and not on their stomach.
Dropping their head.
Yeah, you don't want them to smack their face too many times. Like, once is acceptable.
Yeah.
But, they should be on a blanket, not like on the concrete. So think about that. I'm trying to prepare everybody for every scenario. Not everybody thinks about these things. You should have a blanket that your baby's laying on to do these things. And yes, some kids don't like it, but it's still important that they get that time. Let them be mad and frustrated, but try to make it fun for them. Get a toy.
And it also helps keep their head round.
Yes, because if you leave them on their head all the time, they get that flat spot.
Yeah. And some kids, it'll be like on the side, and so then they'll naturally sleep with their head sideways, which isn't very natural for their throat. Mm-mm. And like when you're sleeping, you swallow, right? Because you're an adult. You know how to do that. Kids don't really know that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, babies' bodies are still learning how to do stuff. They're still trying to remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to breathe now. Mm-hmm. And so you don't want to make it harder for them to do these things. But them doing little mini push-ups is really good for them, even when they're mad. Give them a few minutes to be mad and do mini push-ups. Chest ups, because they're not doing full push-ups. Chest ups. Babycenter.com also suggests